point up into that part of the glass, and then I'm going to spin this over onto my forearm, and with any luck, the ant is going to sting me. Here we go, ready?
Let's do it. Here comes number 4.
I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the velvet ant.
How many people I saw this game?
2. Here we go. 3. Oh boy. Oh, my heart's racing right now. Oh boy. I can see its abdomen kind of pumping. My heart is going now. Yeah, any second it could sting me. Ow, it's biting at my skin. It's biting at the edge of the container, trying to get out. And that stinger is going to be like a little hypodermic needle going into my skin. This is intense. The glass is actually starting to get a little foggy from the heat of my skin. So at this point, I think we're going to move to plan B, which is holding the velvet ant with the entomology forceps. I don't think it's going to sting me at this point. It's been in there for about 2 minutes, and so far no sting. It's just trying to get out. So I'm going to flip my arm upside down and get the ant back under control. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Extremely nervous, and my heart is racing. I actually think I do have to take a second just to get my heart rate to calm back down. Okay, cut and go, pro. Okay. Alright, the only way to actually move forward with this is for me to hold the ant with the entomology forceps up against my skin and let it sting me. Yeah, hold on, I need a second.
Tim, I'm about to get off.
Crazy. Guys, no, I'm not ready. 1, 2, 3. You good? Get your shot. Let's bring down my heart.
Ooh, because I needed the max. I'm about to keep on because, like, I'm not going down the street. Well, I am, but...
You're not going down the street. So how many games you gonna play? You gonna be a last game, or you gonna play 2 more?
Yeah, they're gonna be my last game. Okay, I'll go outside in the backyard, but I ain't walking all the way down the street. No, we doing,
Who watching my stream?
I'm gonna get off for like an hour and 30 minutes.
Alright, who watching my stream?
Nobody, but I'll like the video. Do not like my videos, cause I did not.
I didn't. I was just playing. I wasn't unlike your video.
I had forgot my birthday for it. No, I didn't forget my birthday, but I got my password on my phone. Yeah, my birthday. I hope I get y'all too sick.
Y'all, if you ever watching my stream, comment so I can see who it is.
And I'm not sick no more. And then once King gets sick, I get Trey sick. King get me sick, and then I get Trey back sick. And we all be sick at the end of the game. Okay, bye, Tim. It might not kick me out of the party immediately, but no. Bye.
Okay. And now they say that the sting of the velvet ant will last for about 30 minutes. And I can tell you guys right now, this is the worst sting I've ever taken. There's no question about it. It's worse than a harvester ant, it is worse than a fire ant. It feels like I'm getting stung over and over again. You can see the welts starting to form on my arm.
Oh man, yeah, this is well, big time. Describe the pain. Is it like a pulsating pain, stabbing?
The pain, it's radiating. It is radiating. It feels like, you know, if you get a Charlie horse in your muscle, and it like seizes up, and then it's like, doof, doof. Ah, that is powerful. I can see why they call them cow killers. Oh, that is some intense pain right there. How long has it been? About 7 minutes. They say the pain from this lasts for about 30. About 23 minutes to go, guys. 23 minutes to go. Ah! Now, aside from working my way up to the bullet ant, the reason I was willing to take a sting from this insect was so that we could all see the effects of the venom. 25 minutes has gone by. My arm is still on fire. And what's crazy is that look at all the red blotching that's formed around the sting. There's the stinger insertion point right there. And it is swollen and it is very tender. And you can see how red the entire radius is of the sting. I'm sweating. My goal was to do the best I could to describe the pain I was feeling. And it still hurts. It definitely still hurts, but not as bad as the initial impact of the stinger. But what's interesting is that all around the sting is tingling, like these little tiny pincushion needles going. And as you can see, there's all these little red dots forming, and I'm assuming that is where the venom is spreading into my arm. Oh, wow. Well, I would say that this was definitely one very intense sting. The cow killer has earned its reputation as being one of the most powerful stings in the insect kingdom. And while it may be ranked as a 4 on the insect sting pain index, for me, at this point, it's definitely number 1. I'd say I'm one step closer to being stung by the bullet ant, but first, I'm going to have to go up against the tarantula hawk. I have a feeling that that one is going to be bad.
There's hours of fun with the new remote-controlled 4x4 off-road and multi-function Control Plus app from Lego Technic.
If the bullet ant is the grand finale in my quest to find the most painful sting in the insect kingdom, the tarantula hawk is definitely the last act. And right now Mark is shooting B-roll of it inside its little glass enclosure. Oh boy, it does not look happy. Now they say that the sting of the tarantula hawk is number 2 on the insect sting pain index. It's like being stunned with a taser, and they say it puts you into a state of paralysis for up to 5 minutes, where all you can do is scream. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this.
Alright, Coyote. You okay, man? Your heart racing?
1,000,000 miles a second. This is the most nervous I've ever been to take a sting or bite from anything. My hand is shaking. Are you guys all ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready. Okay, here we go. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the tarantula hawk.
Go for it.
1, 2, here we go. 3. Ah! Ouch! Where I'm going to be stung by a giant spider wasp. Now, the tarantula hawk is the second most painful sting in the insect kingdom. The only thing more painful than this is the bullet ant. And I felt that to work my way up the rungs of experiencing these painful insect stings, I kind of had to see what it was like to be stung by a tarantula hawk before I actually take on the bullet ant challenge. Deep breath. All right, let's bring in the wasp. Oh boy, this is going to be bad.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
That's a big one.
That is the largest species of wasp in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Now you look at this insect and you say to yourself, tarantula hawk. Well, it's not a tarantula and it's not a hawk, but like a hawk, they hunt for tarantulas. What these females will do is fly around in the sky, and they can actually sense chemicals in the air that will tell them where a tarantula's burrow exists. They will land on the ground, skitter across, and go down into the burrow. They will use their front arms to tempt that tarantula to come up out of its burrow, and that is where a boxing match begins. The tarantula hawk will dodge left and right, taunting that tarantula until it rears up on its back legs and exposes its fangs. Now you would think that tarantula is going to bite down and kill the tarantula hawk. Not going to happen. This hawk is so quick She will spin her abdomen up underneath the belly of the tarantula, insert that 1/4-inch stinger, and the venom will instantly put that tarantula into a state of paralysis. Now, the tarantula is not dead. It's just like this. I'm in intense pain, and I cannot move. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the true horror story begins. It's in a state of paralysis, and the female pulls the tarantula back down into its burrow, and there she proceeds to lay an egg on top of its abdomen. She then leaves the burrow, and the tarantula is left there, still alive and in a permanent state of paralysis. Eventually, that egg hatches, and the larva then eats the tarantula while it's still alive. How's that for one crazy horror story? Oh, okay. So they say that the sting from the tarantula hawk is so painful it will put even a human into a state of paralysis for about 5 minutes. I know what you're thinking. Coyote, this is absolutely crazy. Do you want to know what Coyote's thinking right now? This is absolutely crazy. But I think if you guys are ready, I am ready to be stung by the tarantula hawk. Here we go, guys. Chance, bring in that butterfly net. I'm going to lift this up. We're going to actually place the capsule inside of the butterfly net, just like that. Lift it up. Now I have a set of entomology forceps here. See that? And these have a very soft tip. I'm going to be able to pick up the wasp with these forceps. What I'm going to do first is reach my arm in there and remove the glass capsule. Once the glass capsule's out, the net will fall down on the wasp, and I'll be able to insert the forceps in there, pick up the wasp, and remove it from the net. Okay, ready? Here we go.
So the butterfly net is here to try to prevent the wasp from flying away.
Yes.
Because how hard was it to catch this wasp?
Extremely difficult. We've been trying for days to catch one of these. And it was a very painful experience to get it based on the fact that I fell into the cholla. Okay, ready. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm removing the glass capsule. Trying not to disturb the wasp. Okay, this is good.
Part 1.
Part 1 is good. I'm going to remove the stick. Stick is out. Okay, now I'm going to fold this over like that.
This is the last little break between you and being stung. What's going through your mind?
What's going through my mind is don't get stung right now just through the net. I have to get it perfectly with the entomology forceps. If I don't get it right on its thorax, we can't make this happen.
I don't know, man. I think you're kind of stalling.
I'm not stalling. Trust me, I'm not stalling. Oh, boy.
Careful. Oh, boy.
Got it.
Oh, boy.
That is the position that we want.
Oh, boy. Okay, so we got to hurry up and do this.
That is a perfect hold right there. Now, before, look how much my hand is shaking. Hold on.
It's like a shot of...
Okay,
oh,
got a really good hold.
Wow, look at that abdomen going.
I got a really good hold on her. It took me a minute to get the right hold, but the right hold is what is important. Now, I do have the glass capsule right here, so I'm hoping that I have the wherewithal after the sting to quickly pick up the glass enclosure and put it back over top of the wasp so it doesn't escape and we can get some more B-roll shots with it. But, guys, do be aware that if I do immediately go into a state of paralysis, just let the wasp fly away. Don't try to grab it. Don't do anything. It'll be back into the wild and everything will be fine.
All right, Coyote. You okay, man? Your heart racing?
A million miles a second. This is the most nervous I've ever been to take a sting or bite from anything. My hand is shaking. Are you guys all ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the tarantula hawk.
Go for it.
1, 2, here we go. 3. Tell me what you're feeling. John, I can't move my arm! That is the most intense pain I've ever felt!
Hey man, I'm getting nervous. Are you feeling anything like you be worried?
No, I just can't move my arm.
I don't think I'm gonna cry.
Captain Pearson doesn't cry though, right? Oh! Oh! It is! It's like my arm is in a state of paralysis right now. Ah! 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 I can't. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Ah. Ah.
Your arm is swollen up.
Ah. 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 Second wave of pain. Ah. Yeah, it's actually receding at this point.
You can shoot through that bush?
Wow! That zone right there is a hot radiating pain. And you can see the stinger where it went in right there, that red mark. I've read that it's like getting tased with a taser gun. I've never been tased before, but I can tell you that the pain
But dang, the man hiding in that bush, bruh.
all up and down my forearm. Wow, I'd actually
This man hiding.
slightly liken it to a Gila monster at this point. It feels really hot. Really, really hot. Hot to the touch.
I don't like people that hide in the
But you
bush.
can see my arm is warm to you.
Oh yeah, it's like really hot.
Oh, hold on, let me walk around for a second. Oh. Oh. Okay. Let's come back in.
Who will watch my stream, do a comment so I can see who it is.
I am lightheaded at the moment, but the sting from the tarantula hawk is serious. I can see why it's ranked as 2 on the insect sting pain index. And at this junction,
Our beloved Danny, our firstborn son.
He's a kid who has just the biggest heart and a love for people.
rivers, quad torrential thorax, and just like the tarantula hawk, induce a sting. One way or another, there is no question about it, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to be stung by a bee.
Alright, it's time.
GoPro rolling. We are rolling. Alright, now what I'm going to do is tip up the glass capsule and then place the ant down onto my forearm. Here we go. Mark, your shot good? Are you through, brother? Yeah, no turning back now. Mario, ready? Do it. Here we go. Ant on my skin. 1, 2. This is it. No turning back. 3. Ant is on my forearm. Look at that. Okay, just trying to climb out of the glass. I don't know if it's realized that it's actually on my arm. It is looking a little bit agitated. I can feel the little legs grabbing onto my skin. And right now it is just trying to get out of the capsule. It's thinking, okay, something's new. It can probably sense the heat of my skin. And also the smell of my skin. These ants can pick up different pheromones. We'll let it go a few seconds longer. And I think, similar to the velvet ant, that this ant is going to need to be held with forceps to induce a sting. Okay, I'm going to tip the glass capsule back up and get the ant under control. Are you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, control. There.
Woohoo! Oh man. You alright?
Let's go, bro.
I'm just going through your head right now. What was that like?
Like it. Oh, the nerves that takes, guys. When the ants were coming out of the nest, they were very, very angry. And I think at this point, the ant has calmed down and is just thinking, can I get out of this glass capsule? And I was not bitten, I was not stung. So what I'm going to do now is use the forceps to pick up the ant, to move the little wooden base out of the way. Glass capsule is right here in frame, forearm on the table. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to take on the bullet ant challenge. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2. Oh my gosh, this is it. 3. Right into the vein. There is the sting insertion point right there. Oh my gosh. It is like, oh, it's hot. Oh, I can feel the venom already. Right in my forearm. Ah. Oh, it is. It's number 1. Ah. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's burning more. It's getting worse. Hold on. Ah. Oh. My arm is getting really tight. Oh my gosh, Mark, put your arm out here. Just tell them. Feel my forearm. Wow. Dude, it is like rock hard. I think it's spasming up the muscle. Now, the toxin that comes out of the sting of a bullet ant is a toxin, which can cause you to hallucinate. So, I don't know how much venom actually went into my arm. All I know is that the stinger was in my forearm for a considerable amount of time. Oh gosh. I think my neck is having a muscle spasm too. My whole muscle structure is like pounded right now. What is that? Okay, that's not good. Let's keep an eye on that. My neck is like stiffening up. My entire arm feels like it's having spasm right now. Okay.
Is it getting better or worse?
No, it's worse. It's coming in waves of pain now. Ah, my gosh. It is. Hold on. I'm super lightheaded.
You need some water? And you're like getting flushed. Your face is like turning red. You're getting like puffy under your eyes.
I'm sweating bullets right now. Bullets of sweat for the bullet ant. Okay, I'm gonna try to stay composed. We're gonna have to cut this scene pretty quickly. I'm in a lot of pain right now. Okay, at the moment, I'm experiencing hot. It's one thing to get immediately greeted by the other ants. Like a soldier who had returned from a great battle and who would perhaps share its tale of the giant human it had defeated with a single sting. And as I watched this fearless gladiator disappear into the darkness, from my perspective, I too felt as if I had defeated a giant. A giant ladder I challenged myself to climb, that we have all come to know as the Insect Sting Pain Index. I am proud to say I made it, and that when it comes to the most lethal sting in the insect kingdom, so far, it definitely belongs to the bullet ant. It has been a...
I see you found the snacks.
Delicious. I need this recipe.
Everyone thinks I made them, but it's actually...
How far off are we from the coordinates?
A couple hours at least.
Did you get one? Alright, we are in the rattlesnake spot now, but what's a little more eerie is that I think we are also in the den of a bear or maybe fox. Look at that defensive pose. That is strike mode at its finest. The hills of West Virginia hide within their peaks and valleys a plethora of animal species. In fact, this wild and wonderful state is one of the most biodiverse regions in the eastern U.S. On this adventure, I will be teaming up with my longtime friend and field herpetologist, Tim Brust.
Tim is a backwoods bloodhound when it comes to tracking down reptiles and amphibians. The last time we worked together, he helped us find the elusive hellbender, one of the nation's most cherished salamander species.
We got it! There it is! It is an absolute giant!
That was the hardest hellbender catch I've ever had.
Wow, man.
Today we are hot on the trail of the timber rattlesnake. Hailing as one of the largest venomous snakes in North America, these pit vipers are masters of camouflage. So finding one hidden amongst the rocky crevices and outcrops will be an arduous challenge.
There's a tree down in the middle of the road that I'm going to help Tim move.
The task required us to travel deep into West Virginia's wilderness as we pushed our vehicle to its safest limits.
Oh no! Alright, we may not be going any further than this. Literally just got done talking about how we got past the toughest area of rocky terrain, and we have now turned the corner. Are you kidding me? I think we're going to be able to get past this, but it's the next bend that looks even more difficult. Look at that. Total rock slide that came down off the mountain into this. So the Jeep should be able to get over this, no problem. It's just a matter of what is up and around the corner. How far off are we from the coordinates?
A couple hours at least.
Okay, so we have made a decision at this point. We were thinking about going over the mountain and up that rock slide right there. Way too treacherous with cameras. So what we're going to do now is go on foot down the roadway, and it is roughly 2 miles as the crow flies to get to these spots that Tim has GPS coordinated where snakes have been seen. For us, it's going to be more than 2 miles. It's going to be probably close to 4 or 5 hour hike to get to the spot. So it is going on 11 o'clock now. With any luck, what's going to happen is we're going to reach the snake spot when they're doing their second basking for the day, which will be somewhere between 4 and 6 o'clock. It's going to be a commitment, but this is what it takes to find the timber rattlesnake.
All right, well, we found potentially the location based on Tim's phone, and he thinks maybe 300 yards down this little kind of valley is the spot. We're going to scout it. With any luck, we're going to actually see the location.
We just need to really know an entry point. The foliage is all so dense, whether it's trees or these scrublands and grasses, unless you can see exactly where to go down it, you could just be descending into a ravine. So scouting with the drone is definitely giving us a bird's eye perspective of the terrain before we even embark upon heading down into it.
I think this is it. This is all on that slope.
What are you seeing? Oh,
see that?
that is all rock right there.
Open, rocky.
Yes. Outcrop. Can you get lower to see the size of those rocks then?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to.
Oh yeah, man, that's gotta be it. Look at that. That's all rocky terrain. I think we found it.
We found a spot, and I think Tim found a spot.
Okay.
He's been yelling at us, so I don't know what that means. I can't really hear him.
Maybe he has a snake?
Maybe he's got a snake.
Okay, well, let's pack up the drone. This is great. We have spent hours searching out rocky outcrops, and now we possibly have 2 potentials. One we saw in the drone, and one that Tim is calling us to come towards. Did you get one? Wow. This is it, right here. Perfect timber rattlesnake habitat. Now it's just a matter of searching and finding. What do you think, Mario?
Do you see how unique this habitat is? It's overgrown with vegetation, but it also still allows for some exposed rocks so they can come out and bask. Kind of the best of both worlds.
Okay. So basically, you spend some time searching these rocks for snakes. Nice stand here. Any one of these big rocks that has almost a miniaturized cave underneath it is exactly the kind of spot that we want to be looking. Now, the best spots are going to be rocks exposed to the sun. Part sun, part shade, so that when the sun comes out, the snake can come warm itself up, and then when it gets too hot, it can go hunker back down in the shade. Oh, nice. What you got?
You got a little fence lizard. What's really cool about these guys is the nails.
Don't fall off the cliff.
Don't lose the lizard, don't fall off the cliff. What's cool about these fence lizards is they look kind of drab in their dorsal, but on their ventrals, look at that. These are beautiful. It's a nice blue. Awesome. You get the really fast one. Beautiful little specimen. You're gonna put him down. Watch him take off. There he goes. All right, let's try to catch a rattlesnake. All right, we are in the rattlesnake spot now, but what's a little more eerie is that I think we are also in the den of a bear or maybe fox. There are bones, chunks of meat, and also some vomit, like vomited flesh. And back within here are a bunch of small pathways, and it's an area like this over here where you're usually the most nervous. You don't want to just stumble upon something that is hiding in the underbrush. Okay, I'm going to head back over where Tim and Mario were, and we're going to keep looking for rattlesnakes. But I don't think it gets much more dangerous than this. Rattlesnakes and a potential bear down. Okay, we are on the side of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia right now. We have descended, I'd say close to 800, maybe 1,000 feet. And it's impossible to tell in the GoPro, but if you look out through there, you can see the open expanse of wilderness. It is beautiful, but the terrain is extremely difficult. When you look up back behind me, you can see all this rocky terrain that we have come down through. We've gotten to the point now where we've been out here for so many hours, we're thinking we need to turn back, because if we don't, we may not get to the vehicle, which then has to drive all the way down the mountain back to civilization before the sun sets. There's always the chance of finding a snake on the way back up, but at this point, we may have reached the juncture of failure. No rattlesnakes on our rattlesnake expedition, which is discouraging, but it still has been a really fun time out here exploring the backcountry of West Virginia. It's not often that a target species manages to elude us. Yet after many hours of searching, we still hadn't seen a single rattlesnake. Then on our way back to the Jeep, we came upon a slithering surprise that we didn't expect. Tim just called out that he found a copperhead. No rattlesnakes yet, but this is a great opportunity. Quick. All right, back. All right, we got a copperhead. Definitely cannot work with or present this snake on the side of the hill, though. So let's take it up here and get a closer look. Better. Now we can actually stand. Okay, let's find a good open flat spot here right behind you with this rock. And just gently fold the edges down and slither out a little bit. Okay. Everybody just be on high alert. The snake is coming up. Copperheads do have a tendency to be rather spastic. Very quick snake. Just kind of bounce it up on the snake up like this. Ooh, strike it down. Look at that defensive pose. That is strike mode at its finest right there. These are very fast striking snakes. It's definitely a species you always want to be cognizant of when you're in the environment. They're so perfectly camouflaged. Now, to really get a better look at the snake, there's a method that we can use to actually handle it called tubing, where the front of the snake will go inside of a plastic tube, and that will allow me to handle the snake without the risk of being bitten. And the copperhead's staying rather calm right now, which is great. It's exactly what we want. Look at that. Now, it's really important that I keep one hand on the snake and the tube at the exact same time. What we don't want to happen is for the copperhead to wiggle out backwards and inflict a bite. That is so cool. What a beautiful reptile.
Now, while the copperhead is a pit viper, it is not a rattlesnake. However, like rattlesnakes, they will sometimes wiggle just the tip of their tail against leaf litter, alerting any potential predator or even human that, hey, if I've been spotted, I'm here in the environment and you don't want to get any closer. Now, people oftentimes confuse non-venomous snake species with copperheads or water moccasins. And you can see that very distinct banding that runs down the length of the body. It looks just like the banding on a younger northern water snake. And even the underside, the underbelly, that slight checkered patterning and the design on the dorsal scale pattern almost looks like a fox snake, another completely harmless species. So this snake does have a rather negative reputation, but as long as you don't try to interact with the snake in the environment, all it wants to do is stay completely hidden from humans. Now, when it comes to venom toxicity, this is a dangerous snake. It is not a reptile you would ever want to be bitten by. But when it comes to the venomous snakes in the United States, this is on the lower end of the potency, right? So a water moccasin, which is a much larger snake, is going to have a higher venom yield when it bites you, especially when it comes to rattlesnakes. An eastern diamondback, a timber rattlesnake, a western diamondback, bigger snake means a larger venom yield. You can see the size of this snake's head is rather small, which means it has smaller venom glands. But keep in mind, it's all about how your body reacts to venom. Just recently, somebody in Alabama was bitten by a copperhead and they died from anaphylactic shock. A bite from a snake like a copperhead could mean the end of your life. Well, we didn't manage to find our target, the timber rattlesnake, but that's okay. We still came across one of West Virginia's most iconic pit vipers, the copperhead. And getting it up close, testing out this method of tubing, totally made the adventure worthwhile. Now, before we release it right back when we found it, what I actually want to do is place it in the leaf litter to show you just how camouflaged the snake truly is.
Most people do their best to avoid interactions with snakes. A smart state of mind, especially if the species is venomous. Suffice it to say, snakes think exactly the same and do their absolute best to avoid humans. If you find yourself exploring in an area that is known to inhabit venomous snakes, your safest plan of action is to wear sturdy hiking boots, stick to well-worn trails, and most importantly, pay attention to where you are walking. You should be completely safe.
Okay, we're gonna let the copperhead slither right back out of the snake bag. Perfect. I'm Kyle Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see on the next adventure.
Hey, Coyote Pack, do you know the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake? If not, make sure to check out the episode where I show you the distinction between a water moccasin and a water snake. And don't forget, subscribe and click the notification bell so you can join me and the crew on our next big adventure.
Check that out. That is a broad-banded water snake. Whoa, there it is! What?
Totally got that.
Isn't that crazy looking?
So gnarly.
It did not bite me, but boy, did it make me jump.
Does the worm feel any different when it does that?
Yeah, I can feel its body like tense up.
Oh no. It's puking all over me. Gross.
Oh, it stinks.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh man, gross.
In most areas around the world, when the ocean tides recede, they reveal a hidden coastline that is made up of shallow intertidal pools, many of which are filled with colorful plants and bizarre-looking marine creatures. However, when the tide pulls back from the inlets and estuaries around Harpswell, Maine, you are often left with an endless expanse of mudflats. These exposed layers are formed when mud is deposited by the tide, and while they may look like a barren wasteland, they usually support a large population of wildlife. Today, the Brave Wilderness team will be joined in the field by Anthony, who is a professional licensed bloodworm digger. For nearly 40 years, he has been raking the mud flats of Maine.
Oh!
Good day, he can haul in around 1,000 worms.
Alright guys, so we have multiple cameras going
right
today.
here.
As you can see, it is still raining. Not too bad right now, but it's going to be a slightly gritty episode, which is perfect because today we are looking for bloodworms. It's going to be muddy, it's going to be grimy, and if we're lucky, we're going to find some of these worms that are then probably going to end up biting me. Isn't that right? That's right. Okay, well, we're going to leave the big cameras behind, and what we have here, check this out. This, is a bloodworm digging rake, and as I understand it, you kind of slam that into the dirt and mud, pull it back.
Well, yep, pull it back, flip it over. They say it's all on the wrist.
All on the wrist? Yep. Okay. Now you're coming, right? You're not just going to stand underneath the edge of the car?
I mean, I could stay back here.
Yeah, no. I can see that you've got your water shoes on. We're all getting muddy today.
We're all getting in it.
All right, guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Digging in mud flats is truly a dirty job. And believe it or not, bloodworming is a huge part of Maine's fishing economy, as these marine worms are sold as bait. So whether you are catching the prized bloodworm or the slightly bigger sandworm, a heavy haul can equate to a pretty nice paycheck. However, the good news for any and all worms we catch today is that they will be released back into the wild. Now it's just a matter of getting into the mud so we can keep digging.
Well, you just let us know what you think the best spot is.
I hate not having
No one knows. This is tough. It's like you're walking on another planet. That's crazy looking out here. It's all kind of glassy looking. And this is every day for you, huh? Every day. How you doing, Mario?
Can whoever watches my stream stop watching my stream?
This is cool. I've never walked through anything like this before.
If y'all both want to watch me play 2K, stay.
Oh my gosh. I thought you used to this stuff being from the Everglades. We don't have this in the Everglades.
You want to wash your knee, man? Yeah, just wash your knee and water. There you go.
Better? All right, that's a little better.
Keep it. I'm serious. No, I'm serious, but I go through this all the time.
Okay, so guys, check this out. Hey, Anthony, I see there's like a bit of a waterway going through here. Yeah. What sort of area are we looking for to start digging?
Oh!
Look at this. Is that one of these worm trails?
No, that's like,
oh, this?
Yeah.
It's
a snail?
That's a snail. Okay, so not worm trails. Well, I think this little area here looks like a good place to maybe start.